Hey y'all. Hey. I know it's been a minute since I did a video. How y'all doing? I pray you guys are doing absolutely amazing. I'm Tiffany, the host, the realist with the most, the realest you ever see, hear, and know. Welcome if you see my face for the first time. Welcome to Next Level Transformation Talks, where we dive into inner transformation, right? Where here you'll get the clarity before you can integrate the change. Before you can put forth the change, you got to be clear on where you're standing in life. And that's what this channel is about. I pray you guys are doing absolutely amazing. I just ate y'all, so sorry. I'm trying to make sure I ain't got no food in my teeth. Listen, new subscribers, welcome. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for supporting, for y'all diving in. I know I look like a little teeny bopper. I love my bangs though, y'all. It's giving me 90s feel. I mean, I'm an 80s baby, so. Listen, this particular video I want to talk about is 3 major things you got to let go to have internal peace. A lot of us are still struggling with internal peace. We still having a lot of internal conflict, and it's the conflict over mind, body, spirit conflict. And so I wanted to highlight 3 major things that is probably causing the internal conflict, that's probably causing the misalignment internally, because that's what we do here. We get clarity so we can gain understanding to create inner alignment, right? So we got to lead with truth, be 100 with ourselves, right? Move in the present, sit with the now, right? So we can rise with alignment. And so 3 key things that I want to highlight. First is the need to control everything. This is something that I know all too well. I'm a recovering control freak. Understand, I am a recovering control freak. I wanted to control not just outcomes and situations, but I try to control people. I try to control other people's emotions, other people's feelings. I try to control atmospheres, right? Environment. I tried my hardest to control, and that's what was causing the internal conflict for myself. And the reason why we have to let go of the need to control everything, because trying to control outcomes, people, timing, and perceptions creates constant tension. As you know this is where the internal conflict comes from, because you're trying to control. You're trying to have everything turn out the way that you envision it, where you're safe, where you're comfortable. And a lot of times you have to be uncomfortable in order to grow, in order to shift, in order to elevate. You can't always be comfortable in that space. And so you gotta let go of how others respond, right? We want to control the dynamic of conversations, and you can't, because you don't know how unstable somebody's emotions are, or their mental state. So you have to release the need to control how somebody else's response. If they respond chaotically, let it do it. If they respond left field, right, let they say what they need to say, and you keep pushing. Only you can control yourself, right? You don't have to react to their response. Let them say what they need to say. Let me tell you something. I'm a queen for letting people say what they need to say. If you say I'm a drug addict, I am. If you say I'm crazy, I am. If you say I'm a loving, respectful response, I am. I don't fight people of how they feel they need to perceive me, or what they feel they need to say to me to feel like they need to hurt my feelings. I'm not easily hurt. Okay? My skin is like Teflon. You can't get through this. Like, I listen, I eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner type situation. And so also you got to release the need to control perfect timing. There's no perfect timing. It's only divine timing. And once you shift that perspective, once you shift that mindset, then you are no longer in control anymore, right? If you're focused on the perfect time, it got to be the perfect time to launch this, or it got to be the perfect time to have this conversation, or it got to be the perfect time to make this move. Then you're trying to control. You're trying to control the narrative. You're trying to control the outcome. You're trying to control everything about it. And it's not about the perfect time. It's about divine timing. When you shift it to divine timing, then it allows you to release the control and put the control where it truly belongs, and that's in his hands, right? Another one, the right outcome. any outcome is going to be the right outcome, whether however it may look to you, however it may feel to you. If you release the need to have the right outcome, then you wouldn't have the internal conflict of trying to have everything perfect, have everything right, however, have everything aligned, A, B, C, D, F, D type thing, right? The outcome allows it to be for what it is, right? That's how you're releasing the control. Secondly, let's talk about it. Yeah, I know I take notes because I can ramble. We talked about this last video, so don't act new to this, be true to this, okay? Unforgiveness. I feel as if, let me just speak a little personally right now. I really thought we were all on the forgiveness track, right? I did. I really did. I really felt like we were all on this forgiveness track. I felt like we were all on the right path to forgiveness because we're understanding that the forgiveness is not for them, but it's for us so we can have internal peace, right? I did videos about forgiveness about 2 years ago on the channel. We talked about it. There's a lot of content about it. But no, y'all still holding on to some anger, animosity, resentment towards some people. Y'all still not moving in forgiveness. So if you're wondering why you have no peace internally, not in your environment, not surrounded, because well, let's keep it a buck. If you don't got it internal, you ain't got it external. Keep it a buck, right? So if you're finding that you don't have peace and you're wondering why you don't have peace, this may be a key factor for you where you're still living in unforgiveness with whoever, family, friends, exes, whoever, right? I'm noticing that the forgiveness, the unforgiveness that a lot of us are still harboring is not necessarily for others, but also for ourselves, for what we allowed for so many years. I had to forgive myself first before I can extend forgiveness to anybody else. That was my process. That was my journey. That was my way to forgiveness, was I had to forgive myself because I did allow and accepted a lot that was underneath my worth and my value for years. Okay, I did. And so I had to learn to forgive myself first before I'm able to extend forgiveness to anybody. It didn't matter who it was, friends, family, exes, right? Co-workers, right? I had to forgive myself first before I was able to extend it to anybody else. And maybe this is where the conflict is. You haven't forgiven yourself for what you accepted or what you allowed or what you welcomed past your worth, lower than your worth, right? The gutter type stuff. You haven't forgiven yourself. And so you have to let go of the old portrayals. I know it's hard. It's very easy to keep receipts. Okay, nobody's saying that you have to delete them, but you just need to archive them, put them in storage, right? You're still carrying them in your house. Now you need to pack them up and put them in storage, right? You got to let go of the old betrayals. The self-blame is very big, and I feel it heavy in the energy for sure. A lot of people blame themselves for the way their life is currently unfolding, the way that their relationships are unfolding. I think I'm going to do a live sometime this week about I am the problem, but in a way where it provides some clarity of why your relationships don't always work out or why your connections are not as healthy as you desire them to be. But this comes towards this particular part, right? And you got to start embracing compassion. It's important to embrace self-grace in a process when you're forgiving yourself, understanding that at that time you didn't know better, so you didn't do better, right? A lot of times you did know better and you still didn't do better. So have yourself compassion, give yourself grace for the time that you were in, right? Understand that we all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. We all have shortcomings. We all have setbacks. We all double back. We all fall short, right? None of us is walking a perfect path. None of us is. And so when you're operating in forgiveness, you have to have that mindset for oneself, but also for others. Like, yeah, they did you wrong, right? They messed with the wrong one. Okay, they fumbled. Baby, I don't know what it is. I be having to trade team members. They be fumbling the ball too fast. Understand? So I understand about the fumble, right? They fell short of honoring your self-worth and your self-value and your self-respect, right? They fell short of respecting you, being honest, right? But understanding that we all fall short, we all make mistakes, right? You can't hold it against them for so long, because at the end of the day, they have to take accountability for their own actions. But that can't hinder you from moving forward and having internal peace because they're refusing to take accountability. That part, you see that disconnect? Okay, now let's talk about it. Internal peace requires emotional detox. You know this. I feel like we talk about this a lot. I feel it's being talked about a lot, where we have to do detox. We always talk about detoxing our body. We all talk about fasting, but we have to do emotional fasting. You've been angry for a very, very long time. You've been bitter for years on end. You need to do a detox of your emotions, right? You need to do a release. You need to do a cleanse, right? And I'll talk about that, how to do an emotional detox on Next Level Wellness Club for the extended version of this video. But it's time, right? You can fast for your body and your spirit, right? But you don't know how to fast for your emotions, and that's fine. We're going to talk about it. You know how to fast for mental? We'll talk about that, right? But that's something that you need to do in order to gain internal peace. You got to do an emotional detox as well. Third, right? A third thing you need to release, let go of, so you can find internal peace is the need for external validation. I talk about this repeatedly because we're still in this habit of holding our self-worth and our self-value to likes, shares, comments, subs, right? Granted, I'm a YouTuber, right? I have a company. Of course, I would like to have more clients. Of course, I want to have more subscribers, but my value is not measured to my subs or to my likes or to the client, as many clients or how many sales that I have. Understand? I know who I am. Unless y'all new to the party or y'all coming late to the party, I know who I am. That's where the internal peace that you're searching for is, because you're still holding who you are in other people's hands. That part. You gotta let go of the instant proving. I was here for a very long time, especially entering entrepreneurship. I shared this story before where I was so focused on proving myself that I could be the top coach. I could be the top life and wellness coach in the business, in the game, in the industry, right? I could be the one to be the most realist, right? That's just who I am. I don't need to prove it to you, right? The people who gravitate to me gravitate to me. The people who don't, stay 6 feet. It's plain and simple, right? I respect it, right? And we got to release the need of comparison. I say this all the time. Stop looking to the left and to the right. Look forward, look ahead, look in the present, but look along your own path, your own journey. If you keep looking to the right and to the left, then you're searching for validation, and you're in a state of comparison, and you're trying to rush past where Heavenly Father is trying to take you, right? You're trying to rush His path for your life, and then you're going to put yourself in the ditch. Point blank, period. I want to explain this one that we have a hard time letting go. I know this is a little past my time, but let's talk about it a little bit. Over explaining yourself. I didn't realize how much this was affecting me and my personal value and my personal worth, my personal self-mastery. I didn't realize how tainting that was. I am a communicator. And so I find myself in the past over explaining myself, thinking that would make it clear, more clear to those that I was communicating with, right? But in essence, I was trying to prove my point, my part, my side, in a state of over explaining to people who are not willing to understand. Pay attention to that, right? So if you find yourself over explaining and you're starting to get frustrated, you're starting to have internal conflict, it's because you're over explaining to people who have no desire to understand. Okay, and you have to be honest with yourself with that, right? So releasing the need to over explain puts you in a position to now align with internal peace, however that may look, right? I want us to start embracing those self-trust. Trust yourself to know that you are enough. Trust yourself to know that you are worthy of the position that you're trying to embark on. Trust yourself to know that you are worthy of the path that you are on. Trust yourself enough to know that you are valuable enough to enter in rooms, to encounter in higher level relationships. Trust yourself. Also, embrace inner authority. Own who you are. When you own who you are, who you become, faults and all, then you don't search for external validation, right? You validate yourself through inner authority. The thing about this is peace is strongest when your identity is self-defined and not outer defined. That's a message for somebody. And so if you're finding that you're still struggling with internal conflict, if you're struggling with internal peace, if you're still having a battle with mind, body, and spirit, right, these may be your major things that you need to release. You need to do some self-reflection. And again, we're going to talk more about that in the extended version on Next Level Wellness Club. You can go to the link below in the description if you want to explore Next Level Wellness Club. We did have this past Saturday, we did have Held and Rooted podcast episode, Comfort Food with Punishment. Baby, I encourage you to go listen to that. It's for all members. Again, that's nextlevelwellness.club for more information. But I love y'all. I pray this provided some clarity, some understanding, because I want all of us to get in a space of having internal peace. We're looking for peace externally, right? I get it. We want peace in our home. We want peace in our relationships. We want peace in our environment, but we are missing that we need to have peace within ourselves first. We have to become one with ourselves. And in doing so, we kind of got to release the need for external validation. You got to release the unforgiveness, right? Release the resentment and bitterness, the anger that you may are still holding for yourself, but for others. But also, right, you have to be in a position to release the need to control. You can't control everything as much as you want to. I know. I be wanting to too, but you can't. You can't. Because you're gonna lose your time. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Be a blessing, y'all, and to others, but know that y'all blessed too.